utilities, like, have any meetings occurred already? Just because they're compliant doesn't mean that, you know, like the public works department is totally on board, or they may have questions about logistics and stuff like that. Has anything taken place?
We haven't met with them yet. Again, I believe all the plans are circulated to all the city departments. Happy to answer questions, comments, whatever we receive back from them and work with those departments. We did a preliminary study for water and sewer based on the demands of this project. We'll place on the existing infrastructure. That's kind of our starting point for it, and certainly happy to have further discussions and again address any comments that those departments have.
And then what about a bus stop? Have you thought about public transportation stopping on site, or would they just stop on River Street and people would walk on the sidewalk?
As I say, initially, currently obviously there is not a bus out there, but I believe RSS is open to one in the future. Right now, the thought process is that we would hope to have something on River Street, but I think as the project goes forward, there's certainly be other opportunities to have more connectivity, perhaps within the parking lot itself as well.
You answered my question about banked. I didn't know what banked parking spots were, so that's just for future planning.
Correct. Yep.
I'm trying to look and see how serious mental illness came into the conversation. The only place that I can find it right now is just on the CEO memo. Was there another spot where it was mentioned in the documents that you submitted?
I'm not sure. We don't regulate who lives places. It's not a land use issue, so.
Right, so why did that phrase even come into the conversation?
So I think folks have read a letter that was going from the CEO of RSS to the mayor to notify them that an application had been submitted for funding. And I think it was referenced there. And so individuals have come and brought that information. It is not before.
It's in our CEO memo, but that's the only place that I could find it in our materials.
Nobody wants to be accused of hiding who's living in the project either, right?
So, Susan, to clarify, in the initial proposal on our CEO memo, it does make a comment about Solstice Commons, including 41 one-bedroom units, 20 two-bedroom units, 88 parking spaces for residents, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of that paragraph, it does say Solstice Commons will include plus or minus 31 units for individuals with serious mental illness and plus or minus 30 units for individuals at or below 70% of the area median income. The total acre to be disturbed is 3.2 acres. Just
so
to clarify.
It's not really relevant to the purview of the planning commission, but it's part of the description of the project for other purposes.
I'm done for now. Thank you.
Yep.
So none of my questions, I guess, are under the purview of what we'd be asking about, but in a future hearing, would you guys be answering questions that a lot of these folks had kind of directly?
We've all
that
taken
aren't
notes,
under our
and
review?
we're absolutely,
Okay.
We've had a few different processes where we've been able to answer questions prior to a public hearing in collaboration with community, and I have done that for 2 years, and I'm committed to continuing to do that.
Okay, thank you, that's all I
I don't know if this is inside or outside of this evening's purview, but are you willing to discuss and elaborate on any traffic-related studies that you say you had conducted in lieu of people's concerns about the heavy amount of student, bike, and foot traffic that happens in the area?
So we did an initial study that was part of our package that we submitted to the board, which was a traffic analysis, uses the industry standards for that. In this project, a project of this size, the determination out of that is that it doesn't have an impact on the local traffic. There's a threshold of if you have less than 100 trips generated by your project, that is considered no impact to the local road network. So that letter and that study is included in the package to this board. So this project was determined to not have an impact on it based on the low number of trips generated. Again, that's an industry standard that we use based on, which is all of those calculations come from the number of units units and number of bedrooms, et cetera, are all built into the calculation to figure out how many trips are generated based on the number of people that we living at the apartment complex.
That's trips per day, trips per,
So it's trips during how it's quantified in there is during the peak hour, so during your morning commute and during your evening commute, is how those are usually looked at in terms of the traffic study component of it. So it's under 100 trips during the peak hour, industry standard for it.
thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. I don't have as many questions as I do just some general comments, just to offer some feedback to some of our petitioners this evening. First and foremost, I want to make clear that all materials for this project are available on the city website. In addition to that, there is an updated environmental assessment form. That is what we will use when we proceed with seeker. There will be a new seeker done. We will review seeker for this project. I want people to be rest assured that just because we are not doing that this evening doesn't mean that we will not be doing it if we are granted authority as the lead agency of this project. More importantly, this project is already zoned residential. There is no reason for this project to go to the zoning board. It requires no zoning variances at this point in time. We do have authority over subdivisions, so this is very much within our purview. That said, this is an environmental review and not economic impact. And a lot of the questions that I think people have tonight are related to economic impact. I'm not saying that those issues are not important, but they are not something that we have any authority over. I think that this was a great opportunity for RSS to get to hear from the community, to be able to hopefully address and answer some of those questions, perhaps in the public hearing that will follow, or possibly at a later date in the 6th Ward neighborhood, to be able to directly respond to some of the community members. And again, I do appreciate everyone taking the time to come to this meeting, and I hope that people's voices feel like they were heard. That's part of the reason why we wanted to open the public comment tonight. And public comment is also open to all city residents. And the city does send out, based on your geographic location of where you are in the 6th Ward, they do send out memos for things like the Planning Commission. They will also send out a similar memo for the public hearing once it is scheduled. And I do also encourage people to follow the city's social media pages as well and visit their website, as they are very transparent as far as when these meetings are scheduled and where they might be. If there is a private or separate meeting that RSS wants to schedule, that is up to their discretion. But we are trying to be as transparent as we can be as we move forward with this process, and I hope and believe that RSS will be doing the same. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not economic impact, and I do understand a lot of the community's issues, but that's not something that we will be ultimately deciding.
Could you just
Yes, ma'am.
explain how you become the lead agency?
I'm going to explain that right now. Because I'm going to make a motion to declare the Planning Commission to be the lead agency of this project.
I'll second.
Any discussion from the commission? You call roll?
Can I ask something?
Just hold on.
Chairman Kuching,
Yes.
Vice Chair Risberger,
Yes.
Commissioner Baskin,
No.
Commissioner Lettuce,
Yes.
Commissioner Swan,
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn,
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter.
Yes.
Motion passes?
Yes.
Let me just explain to everyone what we just did. That does not necessarily mean that we are the lead agency. We still have to wait 30 days so that we can hear back from other government agencies to whether or not we will be the lead agency. As I mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, we are not making any decisions this evening. None whatsoever. We are going to seek to be, based on the motion that was just passed, the lead agency for this project. That may not be the case. That is the motion that we just made, and that was just passed. At the October meeting, we will then be able to, A, have time for public correspondence to come in. That gives anyone who made comments today or wants to make further comments to submit them to the city. They will be read publicly at our next meeting. It will also give the government agencies the necessary at least 30 days required for them to respond if they want to seek to be the lead agency in this project. Clear to everyone? Okay. With that said, I would like to make a motion that the Planning Commission request City Council to enter into an agreement with a consultant to advise on seeker for this project.
Second.
Have we talked to any city administrators about that?
Yes,
yet?
we have.
Okay, cool.
This is something that we are going to do so that we can make sure that we are being, again, as transparent and clear, and making sure that we take all of the right steps and do everything all the right way so that everything that is under the purview of the Planning Commission is properly addressed. At the October meeting, if we do get this consultant and the City Council approves it, they will advise us, we will work with them, we will move through seeker, we will go to the October meeting, all of us as a commission, and we will move through the seeker together.
Okay,
Again, that meeting will be open to the public, and everyone will have an opportunity to, line by line, go through the seeker, and the Planning Commission can again address questions to RSS.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but will then you be able to discuss economic?
We will never be discussing economic impact because it is not under the purview of the City Planning Commission. Anything that is economic impact driven should be addressed directly with RSS if or when they decide to have some sort of public hearing and or address the public. And that is, again, outside of our purview. If you would like to comment.
I would like to comment. I give you each my word, and Scott, we have had a lot of conversations for the last 2 years. To come to Oneonta, there's a few ways we can do it to ensure that each of your concerns and questions are addressed, not just by me, but if we can organize it and plan it, I can have experts in that area talking about it. So instead of me saying, this is what the management will look like, I can have a management person, a company there. Or instead of me saying, this is what someone with a diagnosis like this will be and act like, I can have actual staff there saying, actually, here's who we're working with and here's how it's going, without names and all of that, but characteristics. I do want to hear your concerns and talk with you so that you have the information and the details to answer the questions and the concerns you have. So whether I use Scott as a point of contact or representatives in some other way, I will hang out afterwards and we can find a way to organize that and schedule it.
When is that October meeting?
Can I ask
Oh,
the
yeah.
The October Planning Commission meeting is the third Wednesday of the month, which is what day?
I have a
I don't
question
have my
about the
calendar.
motion. Chair, I have a question.
15.
It will be October 15th. Yes, Susan.
So city council's gonna decide if we get a consultant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that will go to City Council on their next agenda. Further questions from the commission as far as the motion presented? Call roll.
Chairman Kuching?
Yes.
Vice Chair Risberger?
Yes.
Commissioner Baskin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lettuce?
Yes.
Commissioner Swan?
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Just a general comment for the public. If you're curious about how we have to make our decision, it's in the city code. It's the law. We're bound to follow the standards that are in the law. So if you want to know the specifics of how this board has to make its decision, that's where you should look.
Thank you, Commissioner Lettuce. Any other business? We will adjourn at 8:24.
Is this the people with like the noise ordinance and all